Hello, Kelly and Dan Buckley. How you going, guys?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Marty.
Great to chat. You guys have been, especially Kelly, has been so active and so enthusiastic in the masterclass that we just finished up and data-driven fasting, and you're just sort of overwhelming and bubbling with enthusiasm, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, you were contacting me and say, "Oh, how can I help? Can I be a moderator?" And every group you have, and just been chiming in, helping and sharing the journey. So I thought it'd be great to, after your amazing success over the last few months, capture some of that effervescent enthusiasm that you have, and just share your journey to inspire people. So yeah. So how did you? What's your background? How did you get to be so enthusiastic about this whole process? And what's your why for making a difference and making the effort to make a change?
My big why is my diabetic dad. I talk about him a lot because I loved him so much. And he had so many complications. And I never wanted to be diabetic, but I felt like it was kind of unavoidable sometimes.
Yep.
So,
Very scary and ominous thought, isn't it?
yeah, like something's chasing you down, nipping at your heels, and you can't do anything about it. It just
Yeah.
felt like it was out there all the time. And then I started intermittent fasting in January of 2019. And I lost 30 pounds fairly quickly. By April of 2019, I'd lost 30 pounds, but then I didn't lose any more weight. I had a lot of good things happen with my health. Like I didn't have fatty liver disease. I had psoriasis go away. I felt good. I looked good. I thought, well, maybe this is good enough. I mean, you know,
Mm.
this is what I get. This is what I get.
Yep.
And then in December, I found the group that helped me with blood sugars, and I started data driven fasting in December. And I
Yep.
was so shocked to see my blood sugar so high. I'm a nurse. I'm like, well, that's not
You know what
good.
that means?
Yeah, I had no idea my waking blood sugars were so high, or that so many of the foods that I ate almost every day were spiking, sometimes as high as 50 points.
Wow. Yep.
English muffins, white potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, virtually all the carbs were
Yep.
really serious spikers for me.
Yep.
And I didn't know, and I probably would have kept doing that. I thought I was healthy. A grain bowl one time spiked me 70 points. I thought I was doing the best, healthiest thing for me, and Dan and I were doing great until I discovered we weren't.
I suppose your body didn't have enough capacity to absorb all that glucose because everything was backing up in your system. We got a photo. This is your life, and this
Yeah.
transformation from there to there, just from starting your intermittent fasting journey, is massive. So that's the 30-pound loss between
Yeah. That's
starting the IF.
30-pound loss when I felt great, and we both were quite happy with ourselves. I mean, the 2 years that we've stayed below this, at that weight were the best for us since we've been married. Otherwise, we bounced around a lot, up and down, like 30 or 40 pounds at a time. So, yeah, this for us, we thought we really hit the jackpot with intermittent fasting. I still think intermittent fasting is important. I just need to pay more attention to what I eat and when I eat.
Yeah, it's so sort of cute and lovely that you do everything together. You eat together. You share the same Facebook account, and you even like weight cycle together.
We
But
do everything
yeah,
together. I feel responsible sometimes for Dan because I want him to be in the best health. And if I don't feel like being in the best health, well, then I mess him up.
Yeah,
Shoot.
yeah.
And
It's a big
that's the
deal. Eh?
scary. Yeah.
I suppose yeah, women really feel that responsibility, and so what's the story here, Dan? You've gone from that was when you started IF to November, was it here, and then you've got some great
uh,
photos of.
well, that top one was like 2 years ago before I started fasting. The one below that it was about a year ago, and I was just starting the fasting thing. But I guess I've been on it about 2 years. I was about a year into it, and I actually thought I was doing pretty good at that point.
Yep.
But I was kind of stalling out, so I was talking to Graham Curry and started doing the OMAD, which I enjoyed, and I lost some more weight. But again, I started stalling out again.
Mm.
And then Kelly started the data driven, and I'm like, oh no, what's this?
What do you think Kelly's dreamt up?
It's like one more thing now. And
He was disconcerted, let
yeah,
me
I
tell you.
was, really was. Because I mean, the OMAD was working for me, but
Yep.
I was finding that by the end of the day, I would not eat until I got home from work, and I would eat about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I was just really like hungry or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
and it was kind of hard. So when she started this, I'm like, "What? You mean I get to eat twice a day?" It's like I was kind of terrified actually about it, and so I started, and at first it wasn't really anything, and I was really scared I was going to start gaining weight because I was eating twice a day.
Yeah. A lot of people come to data-driven fasting going, "Oh, I was doing ADF or OMAD or
Yeah.
extended fasting. Surely, if I eat twice a day, I'm going to be gaining weight. What's up with that?" So,
Well,
I mean, but this is from. Describe these two photos.
uh,
New favorite shirt.
yeah, that was, well, I had a gold shirt. I bought it. It was an Under Armour, and it was just really hugging me, so it was really tight. And the first one was I was doing OMAD then, and I was starting to lose. That was when I started about a year ago. Would you say when I took that photo? And then the other one was just last week, when I can actually wear it as a regular shirt now. So yeah,
In 2 weeks, he lost an inch off his waist. He
yeah,
hasn't always checked his waist, but I said,
Yep.
well, let's check it, And so I checked it. And then in 2 weeks, he lost an inch.
yeah,
And now he wears a 34 pant.
yeah,
Oh
And
wow!
he was up to like a size 43.
yeah. Very heavy.
Wow,
But
that's
yeah, it was like all
a
of a
massive
sudden,
change.
at first when I started the data, I was like, okay, it wasn't really going at first. I was kind of holding, but
Yep.
then all of a sudden it just went poof. I just started dropping like a stone.
Yeah, a lot of people find that they go, "I'm not losing weight and my trigger's not dropping," and then once they drop their glucose, the
Mhm.
fat starts to fall off. So it's like that upstream higher oxidative priority glucose needs to be burnt off first. Once you lower the glucose in your system, body says, "Well, let's get on with burning fat." So
Yeah.
we've got Kelly's got some super cool photos. This is the great thing about StreamYard and doing lives. You can share that, and so this
This is,
is November to now, is it?
yeah, this is only the nutrient optimization class, only.
Wow.
I lost 3 inches on my waist in 6 weeks and about 12 pounds, I think, but 3% of body fat. Mostly it's my waist that gets me. I thought I would always have a 36-inch waist, and it was how I was built. Rectangle was me.
Yep.
But now I have a waist. I just thought it was how it was. Well, I'm delighted. The waist makes me the most happiest. More
That's a
than
massive change. You can see the weight you're carrying around your belly there, and then it's gone here.
yeah.
A lot of people comment on that. It's like, why does this work so well to drop my waist? It's like maybe weight doesn't drop as much, but it's the fat around the waist that seems to fall off, and that's the sort of dangerous fat. So I think you all smiles here, which is really cool.
Yep. That's me. I never used to take selfies, I couldn't,
Now you can't stop.
well, I couldn't even find a picture of a before for intermittent fasting, but the one you see where, I don't know, there's a side by side, and I took it 3 days before I started intermittent fasting in 2019 on accident when I had a new phone. That
That
one,
one.
the one on the right. I had a brand new phone.
Accidental before photo.
Yeah, that's an accidental photo. And I'm glad I didn't delete it because normally I would have. Yeah, because it's
So,
embarrassing.
so you started out with data-driven fasting. I think I saw your name pop up in the leaderboard back in December. You lost about 8% of your body weight back in the first round. Is that correct?
I think I don't know that I did lose that much in the first round because I was still having a hard time coming off of wheat. Until I gave up wheat, which wasn't till
Yeah.
March, I didn't see a big improvement in my blood sugars. I was still better and my
Right.
trigger dropped, but I would still sometimes have wakings over 100 until I could see the big, long 3 months of data and plot wheat and see that even if I had low carb wheat that didn't spike me during the meal, the next day my blood sugars would be up. So when I stopped eating wheat, has really made a big difference for me. It must cause inflammation that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah. And then you jumped into the masterclass this time around with a massive vengeance. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was.
it was like, who is this Kelly lady? She's insane.
Well,
Incredible.
what
So,
I don't. There was a moderator in the other group I was in, Gabriella. She said
yep.
in that group that if you had insulin resistance, the first thing you needed to do was decrease your body fat. I'm like, heard that, and I went after it with everything I had. I figured that now that I knew what to do and how to do it, I was going to put my full effort into it. So Dane can tell you I was a little crazy, and I'm a little bit like that anyway.
You're a little bit OCD, but you've gained the results. So what makes you so passionate? You said your dad had diabetes, and yeah,
Yeah.
you want to avoid that. But why lots of people have diabetes in their family. Why the massive passion for this?
I did not like seeing him suffer. I didn't like the medical advice he was given. They told him to eat 160 grams of carbs a day.
Mm.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that he had seizure at my house, that he died of a massive heart attack, that he had dementia way early. My pleasant, delightful dad changed a lot when his blood sugars were all over the place, and I've been hypoglycemic since I was a teenager.
Mm.
So I could just feel it coming. And I don't want to have dementia. I don't want to die with a heart attack. Um, I've been trying. I mean, I even knew about blood sugars back in 2010, but I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do with my results. I'm like, okay, I've got them now, but I didn't know the method of how to bring them down. That's what's so great about DDF. It helps you slowly reduce your trigger, and then your weight goes down. It's like a miracle, really.
Yeah.
It's the why. I couldn't figure out how. I knew it shouldn't be that way. I didn't know how to fix it.
You had the why, but you didn't know the how. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Yeah, and definitely with I've got a similar motivation with my wife and seeing all the challenges she's been through and the quality of life change when she's on the blood sugar roller coaster versus stable. It's just a massive change in quality and so many decades of quality life that she could have got if she had have had this earlier and avoided the long term complications even more. So this is your chart from the masterclass, which is quite incredible and spectacular. And like 5 people had charts like this with 100% score. We designed this little nutrient density score to be very, very, very hard, hopefully impossible to crack. But a whole bunch of people this round did it. Tell us what that is and what that means to you and what you had to do to achieve that.
When you said if I got all my nutrients in, I wouldn't be hungry, I believed you. So because I'm kind of slow to trust, so that's a biggie. I'm like, okay, Marty says if I get all my nutrients in, I won't be hungry and I'll lose fat. So by the second week, I think I had my nutrients dialed in pretty close.
Wow.
And then by third or fourth, I got them up to 100%.
Yeah.
But I was just determined to lose body fat. And if this was the way to do it, I was willing to do it.
Mm. Yeah, so to explain, this is our nutrient optimal intake score chart. So basically that black line is 100% of not just the recommended daily intake, it's our optimal targets, which align with greater satiety for all the 34 vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acid, which is omega-3, and amino acids, which is protein. So to get that is really, really an impressive feat. You have to dial in every micronutrient using real food, no supplements, to get a excellent micronutrient profile across the board. So you get a balanced diet, but it's a balanced diet and a micronutrient profile. And we don't really care what you eat to get that. But yeah, I've got some photos of your food, which are pretty cool. It just looks like bright, healthy food. Your yummy fish. Tell us about this. This looks like an amazing recipe. Why did you choose this?
Well, I love salmon. And before we started this, Dan really didn't like salmon. Now he thinks smoked salmon is the best. But this is some wild caught Alaskan salmon that I baked with feta cheese and spinach on the top. That was really good. And Dan also smoked salmon for me, which was really good. We smoked our own. I ate salmon every day. So, but
It's
that
hard
was,
to go wrong with salmon. It's not the cheapest thing, but
yeah.
just so nutrient dense with including omega-3 and all the vitamins and minerals and protein.
As long as I could have variety, I was okay.
Yeah, and you got
If I could eat
your
a lot
food
of
tier all prepped for the challenge.
yep. Yep. We bought 6 red peppers a week, and Dan always helps me chop them, and they go in the
Nice.
fridge, and we have greens, of course, and eggs. So there's just things we buy now that we're still buying. That's the other thing. The 6 weeks of the class helped me hardwire in some of the behaviors.
Yeah.
We are still nutrient optimizers over here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to do. We don't want you to keep on chasing 100% all the time, but if you can move a little bit up the scale, then when you're back away from the 6-week challenge, you can't unlearn that. You can't forget it. You can't forget how good you felt and the habits you built that can continue on after that. So, tell us about planning. How did you plan? I think you've got a photo of your diary here of all the reflection you did and the process you went through. And everybody says, "How long does I don't have much time. How long does this stuff take?" Obviously, you put a little bit more into it, the process, but you got the results. What's your process for planning and reflecting and self-learning? That's a really important part of what we do. It's not like, here's a diet plan, do it for 6 weeks, and then you hate it because you ate someone else's recipes and food, and at the end you fell off the wagon and went back to the foods you really love. We try to help you to dial in what you currently do to make it better. So tell us about your process for that.
So when I first got done with my food testing, which I did that back in December, that's where I figured out everything that spiked my blood sugar. And so
Yep.
I moved that to part of this list. And then I had to figure out what I could eat that didn't spike my blood sugar. So that's on the other side. And when I planned out my meals, you know how you have us pick our 30 top foods?
Yep.
I always pick things that I like. Like I love red peppers. So we
Yep.
ate a lot of red peppers. One thing that I didn't have before is I wasn't drinking coffee because it seemed like it hurt my stomach. But I
Okay.
drink coffee every day with no stomach pain. I'm about
Yep.
delighted as anything to have coffee every day.
That's great.
We ate a lot of fish. We still do. I mean, we're going to have Chilean sea bass for dinner, and I'm going to make a lemon caper sauce. So, and asparagus. So I don't know. We're just going to keep on this nutrition, and Dan wants to lose more weight, and so do I.
And how do you feel? How is the brain fog, vibrance, zest for life? How do you feel now versus 2 months ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't ever have the afternoon slumps like I used to have. Back in the day, I used to think I was hungry when my blood sugar was 100. And that's not hungry, but I would get slumpy, and actually I'd probably dropped from being 140 or something and didn't even know it. And it feels like hunger. Well, now when I'm hungry, my blood sugar is 84.
Yeah,
So I'm running on a lot less insulin stored around my organs. I just feel better,
yeah.
brighter,
And,
happier.
and that's really important. That's like the first component, but not the final component of what we do. It's like we want you to have a healthy, normal blood sugars. And I get quite, over being part of the keto movement for the last 5 years, been quite triggered by everybody switching carbs for just more fat and unlimited fat and eat as much fat as you want. And that doesn't necessarily lead to improved nutrient density, satiety, metabolic health, because you still need insulin to store that fat and stop your body releasing fat from your body while you use up that fat that's coming in. But getting healthy blood sugars is a really important component. So that's what we do. We say, let's look for foods that raise your blood sugars more than 30 points after you eat, and maybe they're not working for you. And once you sort of stabilize them to healthy levels, you get healthy satiety, and you're not plummeting. I know when Monty, has to inject a lot of insulin and her blood sugar starts to plummet, you feel very crappy. And when your blood sugars are low, you just want to eat anything and everything. So once you just got a normal, stable, I'm full, I'm hungry, I'm full, I'm hungry signals, everything sort of falls into place. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really important first component, but then that waiting for your blood sugars is sort of the next. components.
Yeah, I'm off that roller coaster of up and down and up and down and up and down. Now, I know it shouldn't be in too tight of a range. I know that's not necessarily good for me because I want to be flexible metabolically.
Yep.
But I still, because I still eat carbs. I hope Frank listens, but I eat oat bran every day. I hope
Yeah.
he tunes in to know that I eat oat bran every day.
Frank's great. Yeah. But as long as you're separating your carbs and your fat and not combining them in the same meal, you tend to, you don't fill up both your glucose and fat stores at the same time, and
Right.
you're not sort of overfilling all your fuel tanks at the same time. So your body's just focused on burning off carbs, and later it's focused on off burning on fat, but it's not drowning it and flooding the system with both at the same time.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Go ahead.
So go on.
I was just going to say I don't add fat anymore. The food I eat has enough fat in it, so instead of adding fat, I just use what's already there.
Yeah, and that's a really great approach once you while you're losing weight. And if people want to keep on losing weight, sometimes we say let's look at the protein percentage, which is a matter of dialing back the fat and the carbs. But just the fat in the food is enough without adding more to get elevated ketones. So how did you find data-driven fasting different to IF and that previous way you were eating?
I like leaving the window idea behind. For me, I always have liked 2 meals a day, and so that was a major relief. When I couldn't lose more than 30 pounds, I tried all different kinds of fasting schedules. I tried a little bit of ADF, and I do mean a little because that was hard for me. Yeah. I did some 500 calorie down days, like an alternate day modified fasting. That didn't work too well for me because then sometimes on the unrestricted up days, it was like food fest, even though I was still eating what I thought was healthy. I think my blood sugars were just having a trip all the time and I didn't know because I wasn't watching my carbs necessarily.
Yeah. A lot of people say that, like, I have 1 meal a day, but that 1 meal is like a 4-course feast because if I just compress my window, I can eat whatever I want. It's like, no, it doesn't quite work that way. But if you just give your body a punctuated, okay, I need to feed, I'm not going to eat so much my blood sugar goes really high, and then later I can eat again, and when your body needs fuel. So it seems just timing, giving your body what it needs when it needs, just increases satiety, and your body says, yeah, cool, I'm good with this process. I don't need that fat because we no longer have an emergency that we need to prepare for. There's no famine. This food is coming when I need it and giving me good food and giving the little lizard brain exactly what it needs when it needs it. So that's sort of, you can precisely time it with the data-driven fasting. So have you worked into a routine that works for you, like a regular time of the day? It's not just random based on your blood sugars?
Well, I have one meal by trigger, which is usually around 10 or 11, and I try to pack the majority of my nutrients into that meal so that I know I've got them all. And I prefer to eat earlier. I always have. So nighttime is protein and a vegetable, and that's our standard meal or our main meal, and I don't usually check my blood sugar for that. I took your advice. And so I always make sure I'm at trigger first meal. And by second meal, I'm always hungry again because it's a really nutrient-dense meal. I've never been a big volume eater. That's not been for me, but I've been a big carb eater and didn't realize.
Yeah, it's really cool how we see so many people, they go, prioritize protein, and my blood sugar fell after I ate my first meal at 11 o'clock. So it's like they can then eat that next meal because I gave the body protein but not fuel, and they're ready to go again later on in the day. So how did you do both the data-driven fasting and the masterclass at the same time? Most people just find their brain completely explodes trying to combine the two systems and bring it all together. You obviously invested some time and mental space into it.
Well, the master class, I gave it like everything I had. It was like a job. I said, I treated it like it was my job, and I spent a lot of time on it. I'm not going to lie. I spent a lot of time figuring out how to get 100%. I wanted to, and then the DDF part, I was already checking my blood sugar every morning, and so I just needed to really check one blood sugar before I ate. So slowly, especially this last DDF, my blood sugars are a lot lower than they were with my first DDF because of the no wheat. So now my trigger's like 84, which that's good. And I'm not seeing, I don't know, I don't even think I ever go above 100 anymore for anything, post or anything.
You're definitely not diabetic like your dad now, are you?
No, that makes me so happy. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I can feel that. It's beautiful. I love it.
I can almost cry.
Yeah,
I thought I had to be diabetic. Oh.
I love that. I just love hearing all these stories. It's very indulgent to get online with people who have done it, and yeah. But most people start that they tend to find that the data-driven fasting helps them to dial in when to eat to make progress, and they make really, really good progress with data-driven fasting. But then once you dial in when to eat, what to eat really starts to matter. So that's where the masterclass helps bring that in, and it's more than just a high percentage of protein. It's dialing your micronutrients, which is sort of the ultimate hack, which you've taken to the ultimate level. So yeah, but a lot of people get a lot of benefit by just learning to prioritize protein and reflecting on the current diet, but taking it to the full micronutrient spectrum just unleashes all the stops, and you've made great progress. So what advice would you give to someone wanting to, what advice would you give just to yourself maybe 6 months ago of how to start this journey and win at it like you have?
Well, if you can relax and enjoy yourself, I would recommend that. So maybe a little less like me. I mean, because the relationships are really important and you meet great people along the way. So spending time to get to know people, and I freely shared my recipes, my ideas, any thoughts that I had, but get to know people because these are the people I'm going to be hanging with for other master classes here on out.
Yeah.
That I've got.
We've developed a really beautiful, collected an amazing group of people and a community, and that's what we want to. It's about the technology and the systems and the words are only a little part of it. It's the people that really bring it alive.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say that, and then I'd say I was afraid. Well, you can, if you look at some of my earlier posts, I was really afraid to do this. I was afraid that I wouldn't find any food that I liked, so then I wouldn't think it was fun. I was also very afraid to fail.
Yep.
So I had to get over those two hurdles, and then I threw myself at it like a train or whatever, however it is that I do things. We call that I'm on a mission here.
You obviously win whatever you're doing. So what do you think it is what's the mindset that is the winning mindset with data-driven fasting and the masterclass? There's obviously a bit of relax and trust the process, but is it curiosity? Is it determination? Is it flexibility?
Oh no, it's the puzzle. I wanted to crack the code. I'm like, okay, Kelly, you've got a master's degree. You can crack this code. Not to be cocky, but I'm like, you can do it. And so when I couldn't do it, I would be so frustrated. And then the next day I'd try again. And the next day I'd try again. Maybe if I add this, put it in, it's worse, take it out. Maybe if I add this, put it in, take it out. That didn't work. So it was a lot of balancing, and I used your app all the time, looking up nutrients and what was the most dense per that nutrient, and what other weird thing could I try. No boiling heads like CD.
No. We've got the leaderboard here with CD at the top, and then we've got Karen at number 3, and CD was doing her own head cheese with head cheese is actually not dairy, it's a head made into amazing organ meats, and does rank in terms of nutrient density, but she actually made it at home, which is incredibly brave. Meanwhile, we've got Karen, who also got 100%, who's on a vegetarian diet. I just love that the process, the system can help people dial in their nutrient density, no matter their preferred approach of eating, whether they're, plant-based vegan or carnivore or somewhere in the middle, or have wheat allergies like yourself. And everybody needs nutrients regardless of your dietary preferences or religion or belief system. You've just got to get those nutrients. So I love that you find your own way of eating in your own context that you love, and you're going to keep doing it. That's exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I admire both those women. Boy, I don't know, they're amazing. It takes a lot of effort, so I admire what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sort of cool. I love that we create a competition and people compete for maximum nutrient density, but sometimes people get a bit like, oh, I'm not at the top of the leaderboard. But it's like, no. If you start, most people are sitting at a score of maybe 30 or 40, and if you go from 40 to 50 in 6 weeks, you've improved your diet, and that's great. And then you can keep on improving, or if you're making progress with that level of nutrient density, then keep on doing it. You don't need to change. Just, if you stall out and need to dial things up a little bit more, you know what to do to keep stepping it up and moving along the progress to your goals. So yeah, this has been 5 years in the making, and I just love seeing it come alive with people like you, who love doing it as much as we love creating it. So
yeah, I've really enjoyed it. My goal now is to stay at 90% nutrient density. So
wow.
I'm still putting my food in chronometer, but that's my kind of my maintenance goal because I don't want to gain what I've lost. So, and then I took, Frank had this excellent advice. If you gain a pound, it's time to take action. Don't pretend like it's not happening. So I weigh myself every day. I don't really want to, but I figure Frank knows. I weigh myself. If I'm up more than a pound, I take action, whatever that is, But I haven't. I'm good. Yeah, I'm staying the same.
Your attitude is the coolest thing. Hey, I'm glad we had this chat to capture Kelli on video beyond just the community. Yeah, and at the end of data-driven fasting, when people go to maintenance, that's what we do. We say, don't need to track as much, you don't need to test your blood sugar necessarily between every meal, but let's weigh yourself. And if you find yourself going up by more than 2%, it's time to take action again. You just get on the process and dial things back in, and we don't want people to weight cycle because they got really, really, really low and then really, really hungry and spike back up again, and you feel like a failure at that point. But you can just maintain it because you learned sustainable habits, and it's not a matter of I fasted for 7 days and I lost 2 kilos, but I gained 3 as soon as I got near the fridge again.
Yeah, I've done that before. I don't want to do the up and down roller coaster. I want to keep, I want to lose body fat. Like I want to do the next master class so I can get to a lower body fat percentage.
Yeah.
I want my waist to be smaller. Why not?
Why not? If you found that you got the why and the how now, so why not give it a crack?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so cool. This has been so much fun. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Words of wisdom, more Kelli sound bites of vibrant, beautiful happiness?
I would say if you're scared, just do it anyway.
Give it a crack.
Yeah.
A lot of people get fearful of, I don't want to prick my finger and test my blood sugars, and it's all scary, and then we have to dial them back and say, you just need the minimum effective dose of testing. You don't need to be testing all the time. So yeah, it's funny how people get really like, this is fun. I've gamified my weight loss journey. I'm losing weight and waste and making that progress. So yeah. Had a lot of viewers, a lot of people chiming in and saying, way to go, Kelli, and how much they've loved this. So thank you so much. You're a moderator in the masterclass and the data-driven fasting. So
that's what I wanted.
You sort of muscled your way in and said, hey, Marty, I need to be a moderator. I go, okay.
Well, I don't want to leave.
Okay, you're off the leaderboard. You must know what you're doing.
I found what works. I don't want to leave because I need the group. I need to give support and I need to get support.
Yeah. And we want to build a community that just can continue to nurture people and grow them. And we sort of, if you come top 3 in any of the categories of weight loss or blood sugar improvement or fat loss or nutrient density, we give you the prize of unlimited to come back again and again, because we want you to share that journey. Selfishly, because that's so helpful to grow the community, but it's good for you too to really learn something. You need to teach it. So sort of my journey as well. And I'm sharing and teaching, and I learn so much more as you teach other people. So it's been so much fun. Cool. Anything else you wanted to add before we sign off? This has been a riot. So
Thank you.
so
Thank you,
much.
Marty. You're changing the world one blood sugar at a time.
Giving up my best crack in my spare time. So thanks so much, Kelly. I'll talk to you later. See you online. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.